Farmland LP buys conventional farmland and converts it to organic, sustainable farmland as an investment fund. So we give investors the opportunity to own farmland as a real asset, and then we add value to that farmland, increase its cash flow by converting it to more complex and more sustainable crop rotations. The way that farmland is managed today is that it's really from the goal of the traditional commodity farmer who's looking for maximum operating efficiency. So they want, one farmer owns one piece of land, and to get the best economy of scale, they want to farm one kind of crop. So it means buying the largest piece of equipment that they can, planting the same crop, adding a lot of chemicals and inputs basically to the land. So that's fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, proprietary seeds, etc. And those are very expensive now. They used to be quite cheap. Now those costs have increased 300% over the last 20 years. And so the chemical and seed companies are actually making more money than the farmers. So that pursuit of economy of scale and operational efficiency is how agriculture is defined today. But that's really the worst way of generating returns from the land itself. The best way of getting a return from the farmland is actually to have much more complex crop rotations on the land, like has been done for thousands of years, which is part of the land in high quality animal phase, pasture phase, cattle, sheep, poultry, rotating in organic vegetables, rotating in organic grains. And so that's basically what we enable to happen. In the same way that people manage commercial real estate, we look at farmland. What's going to generate the best return from the farmland, and then bring in the right farmers to grow the best kind of crops, maximizing the productivity of the land and getting better economics for the farmers and for our investors. Switching from commodity crops, which are the price is set by global supply of these commodity crops. The farmer has absolutely no control on the price that they get on those commodity crops. By switching from those commodity crops to organic crops or other price premiums, locally grown, sustainably produced, or high quality, results in great price premiums for the farmers and for the investors. And for example, over the past in our first fund, we actually showed that we increased revenue per acre fourfold in 4 years by taking the land through this conversion process. The big problem is that only about 1% of farmland is certified organic, and yet almost 5% of the organic food market, or the food market is organic. You have a very large gap, and in order to actually just meet the current supply gap with U.S. production would be over $80 billion worth of farmland. So you're talking about a very large change that would have to happen that is not linear. It's not predictable at all. One of the advantages that we focus on as well is our sustainable agriculture. We like the organic price premium. It does help incentivize the 3-year conversion process. But by using the sustainable agriculture rotations with livestock back on cropland, we actually lower the input costs for the farmers. So if at some point in the future the price for organic food happened to be the same as chemical dependent commodity foods, our farmers' production costs are lower. So our farmers will be more profitable in that environment. So while I don't think it's likely that organic food would be on parity with the chemical dependent food, if that happened, that would be great, but it actually wouldn't harm our business model at all. My degree is in biochemistry and molecular biology. My business partner is a PhD in biology. Fundamentally, we focus actually on maximizing the soil biology, enhancing the soil biology, which is where your fertility comes from. Increased soil fertility creates increased biological productivity, which translates to better economics, better production and better economics on the land. And it just so happens that it's very easy to get our land certified organic when you focus on the biological productivity of the system. And so, and it also just so happens that the demand for organic or sustainably produced or locally grown food far exceeds the supply. And the big gap that separates these farmers who could produce more of this kind of sustainably produced food. And the markets, which wants much more of this product, is the amount of sustainably managed farmland. And so that's what we specialize in, is actually buying that land and managing it and converting that land to that production system. So it really benefits everybody in the system. So the main difference with our system is that it's just a little bit more of a complex system. There's more intellectual capital that we have to invest in it. It's definitively more complex than a corn, soy rotation system, for example, which we don't actually consider a crop rotation system. But so when we're buying farmland and developing our conversion plans and managing that farmland, we are planting a high quality pasture and bringing basically livestock back on the cropland as part of this rotation system. So on 2/3 of our land, we might have cattle, sheep, and poultry production on that land, generating more revenue per acre on that land than if it was commodity corn, and more complex than commodity corn, but there are clear benefits of it. And then rotating into the vegetables, rotating into the grains, managing that over a 7 to 10 year process over all of our land, it's more complex, but it actually generates more revenue per acre. It's more profitable per acre because the input costs are lower as well. We typically create 3 times more jobs per acre than chemical dependent farmland, but again, while being more profitable. So it's a more complex system, but your risks go down actually. You have much more diverse tenant base, much more diverse revenue streams from the different kinds of crops and livestock. And you're also actually sequestering a tremendous amount of carbon in the soil, which actually holds on to water in the case of droughts, but it also handles over wet conditions better as well. So whether you have floods or droughts, sustainably managed farmland is far superior. So it's more complex, but it's far less risky than chemical dependent commodity agriculture.